All right, all right, all right. Hey, good people. It is your girl, Michelle Franklin, Miss Michelle D.I. What does that stand for? Mrs. Divine Intervention. Why? Because there are no coincidences in this world, baby. Only God's divine intervention in our lives. Yes. And Miss Community Builder. Why? Because I am bringing you the good information, honey, the things that you want. We are having the comfortable, no, not always comfortable, maybe uncomfortable, but it's the necessary conversations that we need to have, honey. With who? With you, boo. With yourself. These are the necessary conversations that you need to have with yourself. And I have the most amazing guest. It is Men's Month. If you haven't been paying attention, what you been doing, boo? Where you been? It's Men's Month. It's October 18th, 2023. It is the 18th day of Men's Month, and we are getting into part two. Mr. Reggie Taylor was my guest on day one of Men's Day, and we're getting into it, honey. We're doing part two. We told you we'd be back. We told y'all we'd be back. They ain't believe us, Reggie. They ain't believe us.
Please believe it. Please believe it. Please believe it.
We are back, honey. We are back with part two. And what are we talking about today? Oh, oh. Oh, what are we talking about today? Today, we are getting into a couple of things, honey. We're getting into the ego. We're getting into the ego today. We are getting into the Jezebel spirit. We are getting into why it's important for you to show up and be your authentic self, honey. Yeah, we get into all those things. So come on. Good morning, Reggie. Come on with me.
Greetings. Hope everyone is doing well. Glad you had me back on your platform, Miss Michelle D.I.
Thank you. I thank you. I always am grateful and appreciative. When people come on, Reggie, listen, I don't take nothing for granted. You could say you could be doing whatever you need to be doing something different. So we are grateful on the Michelle D.I. Reflections Choosing Me Guilt-Free. The men's edition is the name of the podcast. And that's what we're doing today. We are choosing me. What does it mean to choose you? It means to take that look in the mirror, take some time, do some self-love, some self-reflection. Otherwise, baby, you just out here living. You just out here existing. What? Nobody want to just, no, baby, wake up. We want to wake up. We want to live. We want to, right? We want to have life and we want to have it more abundantly. So that is what we're doing. It can be sometimes uncomfortable. And I'm going to tell you today, it might get a little uncomfortable, but this is what we're doing.
Indeed. Yes.
This is what we're doing. So today we're talking about the ego, and we're going to get into some different facets of it. But let me tell you how this started. So back last December, Reggie, I was having all of these thoughts and these visions, and I kept seeing Denzel Washington's Fallen, the movie Fallen.
Okay.
And so I was like, okay, and I kept seeing spirits jumping. In that movie, that's how the guy was getting away with everything, the nemesis in the movie, because he was jumping. It wasn't like one man, right? It was in the spirit. And it took me to the devil and his imps. My pastor, Jamal Bryant, when I was in Baltimore, Maryland, he used to always say the devil and his imps. And I was like, I kept hearing it. I kept hearing the devil and his imps over and over. And so then I got to studying. And I realized that it wasn't just the devil that got kicked out of heaven. I always thought when I would hear the story about, I always hear the story about the devil getting kicked out of heaven, right?
Right, yeah.
You don't know, I don't think it's really that out there like that it wasn't just the devil. And so it was other spirits that got kicked out. How do these spirits show up in our lives? They show up as a spirit of anger. They show up as a spirit of jealousy. They show up as your ego. They show up as shame and guilt. All of these negative things, they're demonic. Nothing good is coming out of being that evil jealousy that you have. Like nothing good is coming when your ego is leading you. Nothing good is coming when anger. And it is, what is the devil's job? He is lurking to and fro. How can I get into your situation? How can I get into your mind? How can I break up your family? Oh, y'all got a good relationship? How can I break that up? Oh, they on Facebook taking pictures? Okay. How can I get into that? How can I break that up? So creating utilizing those demonic spirits. You don't even know what's there. It is the subconscious. You don't even understand and realize how these spirits are jumping on you. We didn't come here, right? We wasn't born angry. But situation and circumstances and life and different things, lead you down this path, or I feel like it leads you to allow these spirits to come in, the spirit of fear. You weren't born afraid of stuff, baby. When you was a child, you was fearless. You were doing everything. Right?
Right. Yep.
Spirit of fear, I feel like, I describe it sometimes, Reggie. I have a video, and I made it into like a little cartoon, and it was me and Phil was having a conversation, and I'm driving down the street. And it was like, it's raining and I'm scared, right? And Phil was like, let me drive. Let me just take over. I can do it. I can do it for you. And in the cartoon, I'm like, nah, I'm good. I'm gonna do it. I need to do this now. I need to handle this now. You know what I mean? Because I feel like what happens is there are periods and points and times in our lives, and a lot of it happens from when we are children, we're younger. Some situation has happened. Maybe you watch your mom or your dad, in an abusive relationship. Maybe, you know what I mean? You got bullied, something happened, something crazy happened, and fear is there. Fear creeps in, fear takes over. What does it do? It's like you see those guys that are bodybuilders that are pumping. I mean, these guys are boom, 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 boom. Terry Crews. What happened to these guys? They were molested or something happened to them as children. That spirit has jumped on them, baby. I'm never letting that happen to me again. If you do, you have guys. I was watching Jay-Z the other day, this interview that he did a few years ago, and he was talking about how the first time he went to therapy, Reggie, and he found out, he said he realized in the city, Reggie, if somebody looks at you, if another guy looks at you, man, what you looking at? What you looking at me like that for?
Fear.
You don't want anybody to see your vulnerability. You don't want anybody, you know what I mean? So these different spirits subconsciously jump on us. We don't even know now. You've been carrying it so long. You've been surviving. You've been in survival mode. You've been carrying all this for so long. You don't even realize you're not even showing up anymore. It's not you responding. You've allowed that spirit to come up, and that spirit is taking over, and that spirit is what is responding. And it feels good the first time because it's safety, it's protection. It's like, yeah. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't gonna let that happen to me no more. I ain't gonna look at, even for females. I mean, it's men's month, but think about the females out there that you like, why is she cussing and fussing and so hard, and all of this. Something has been. That's fear, right?
Right.
And so, talking about these fallen angels and how the spirits take over us subconsciously and we don't even realize it. So today we're talking about the spirit, we're talking about ego and losing yourself, in different situations and different things. So I'm gonna just give a definition real quick of ego. So your ego refers to the part of the mind that meditates between the conscious and the unconscious aspects of one's personality. It often involves self-identity, your self-esteem, and the way we perceive ourselves in relation to others. While your ego can be essential for a healthy sense of self, it can also lead to negative behaviors and conflicts when it becomes too dominant. And just like I said, I think with any spirit, I look at it as twins. You know, it's a good twin of ego and it's a bad twin of ego. Because sometimes you can have like confidence that's looked at, you know what I mean? Like you need confidence to step into rooms you feel like you're not supposed to be a part of. You need a little bit of a positive, you know what I mean? Where you can use that positive energy. But a lot of us don't use it in a positive way. We use it in that boastful, that, you know what I mean? In that negative way. And it shows up, and I see it in so many men. And I want to specifically talk about in relationships, Reggie, because we talked about this before. You were saying, you know, when you were in your relationship with the young lady that you had proposed to, and she gave the ring back, you didn't blame her, right? You came back and looked at yourself. You know what I mean? A lot of times in a lot of relationships, we are so busy pointing a finger. You know what I mean? We're so busy pointing a finger at somebody else that we can't even see our role or our part in it. It takes a humble spirit. You have to humble yourself down. You got to bring that ego down so you can look at yourself and look at the things. Now, I feel like in relationship, people may have said, she did this to me, he did that to me. What about this? What about that? What about that? But in all of it, you done played a role in something. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you done played a role in something. What you say, Reggie?
I agree 1000%. And me just reflecting on that broken engagement that I went through, it was sort of my transition from the world into kingdom, from the world into Christ. And I'm just thinking about that was in 2017, and I was nowhere near where I am now spiritually, emotionally, and mentally. But I still had enough self-awareness to not blame her. Yeah. And I'm trying to reflect on, even though I wasn't in God for real, why I still had enough humility and accountability to still not blame her. I think it goes back to my childhood where my dad has always been in my life. So he's always held me accountable. I grew up playing a lot of athletics. So therefore, if I'm programmed to be an athlete, to be a good athlete, I'm already conditioning myself to not worry about my opponent. What did I do wrong to lose the game? So if you combine those two things, if you condition yourself where you have a man in the house holding you accountable, not coddling you and babying you, and now you're in athletics that is conditions you to see where you messed up. What did you do to lose the game? Now, when you get into relationships, it's like, okay, she did this, but what did I do? What can I change? And as I've grown in corporate America spiritually, I see that God does the same thing. God conditions us to look in the mirror. When you read your Bible, you looking in the mirror. You ain't blaming what daddy did, what mama did, what she did, what he did. So even though I was still immature spiritually and emotionally, I think those factors that I just talked about kind of conditioned me to be like, you know what? I can't blame her for this breakup, because when I mess up, this is my default, is to look at myself first. And that ties to accountability.
Yeah.
And we live in a society where people don't like being held accountable. People get mad if you say, bro, you 5 minutes late today. They go say, well, so-and-so. No, we ain't talking about so-and-so. We talking about you. We talking about accountability. The successful people, the LeBrons, the Steph Currys, the Obamas, or whoever you look at as being a successful leader, they hold themselves accountable. That's just part of being a good leader, period, whether you're a man or a woman.
Yeah.
So I think we lack that in society, and it's trickling over into our households as well as our relationships. We are quick to point the finger, but pointing the finger ain't helping you.
Mm-hmm.
If you show up pointing the finger, I already know you lack accountability. I don't even have to know you. I can look at your Facebook social media page and tell you lack accountability. You still talking about what your ex did. What did you do?
Mm-hmm.
I don't even have to have no conversation with you. I'm like, oh, yeah, it's some lack of accountability right there. So I don't even know if I need to move forward with them in a relationship, because it's that ego that you're talking about. The ego, that pride, it blinds you, so you can't see the faults in yourself, because uh, these filters and all this other stuff on social media conditions us to think that we're perfect and we look better and sound better and smell better than we actually are. So I'm already a wife. I'm already a leader. I'm already this. God saying, no, that's what the filters say. But if you read my Bible, I'm gonna show you all your flaws. Now you got to work on that. I ain't worried about what she did. What did you do?
Yeah.
So it all goes back to those factors stemming from our childhood that conditions us to hold ourselves accountable and not be such a egocentric and a me-centric type of individual.
Reggie, that everything that you just said is so important. It is it is not comfortable. Oh, I don't like that, sorry. It's not comfortable for us to look in the mirror. It's just, it's not a comfortable thing. Like, who wants to do that? Who wants to say, yeah, it was my fault? Oh, I did. I know you cheated on me, but I wasn't treating you right, baby. I was talking to you crazy. I was being disrespectful. I was creeping. I was, you know what I mean? I was doing XYZ.
Right. And I knew that woman that gave that ring back. I met her my sophomore year of college. So she knew me pre Christ.
Yeah.
I was outside. I was in them streets. Like, I was drinking and clubbing and what? I was getting it in. Like, all the way.
Yeah.
So she was with me then. Like, I'm at the club and she waiting on me at my crib, waiting on me to lead the club. Like, she was that type of woman. Good woman. Like, feminine, like all that.
Yeah.
But I was outside dogging her out.
Mm-hmm.
So fast forward, I'd want to change after dogging her out for 10 plus years. So then when I finally change and get my life right, I want to negate, or some of us will negate the fact that you dogged this woman out for 10 plus years and you've been right for 6 months. So she's supposed to forget about the other 10 years? No, she know 10-year you better than she know 6-month you.
Yeah.
So when she gave the ring back, I didn't play victim. I said, you know what? Hey, I get it. She broke my heart one time, but I've broken her heart 20 times.
Oh, say that again, Reggie, for
So,
the people in the back. Say it one more again.
So I'm going to play victim. She broke my heart one time.
Come on now.
But I've broken her heart 20 times. So how am I go forget about the 20 times that I broke her heart and then go out here and say, man, yo, bro, she gave me the ring back. Man, I proposed to her and everything, bro. Bro, what about when you was in college and you was dogging this woman out, talking to her like she crazy? She coming to your room finding other female stuff. Did you forget that part? You got amnesia? Did you forget you used to talk to her crazy? Did you forget about the fact that she came to see your brother play 2 hours away and you would leave her at the game because you going back to Tuscaloosa because you want to party? Did you forget that part? Did you forget about the part y'all got into it and you left her sitting in the car while you went in the restaurant and ate with your boys and it's cold outside and you took the keys and you left her in the car? Did you forget that part?
Wow. Yeah.
Did you forget that part where you sitting up her looking at her crazy because she over here crying because you talking to her crazy? Did you forget that part? We get amnesia.
Yeah.
Not only does pride and ego cause you to go blind, it gives you amnesia.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
did you forget where you messed up, bro?
Yeah.
So when somebody comes to me with a one-sided narrative when it comes to romantic relationships, I'm like, oh no, you ain't jumping in my inbox bashing your ex. Because a
Mm.
lot of women jump in my inbox. Hey, how do I get a man of God? How do I get a husband? What I need to do? Blah, blah, blah. And as soon as they jump in my inbox talking like that, it's go trickle over to my ex was a narcissist. Da, 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 da. I'm so sick of that word, narcissist.
Yeah. 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 It is. It is very well.
My,
Yeah. I agree.
I'm I'm like, hold up. Oh, this ain't what we about to do.
Yeah.
We ain't about to do it because if you chose him, it's something broken in you. Let's talk about you.
Right.
And the one before that, he a narcissist too. Okay, I see a trend. Two narcissists.
Right.
Okay,
Right.
so it ain't them, it's you. So let's come back to you. Yeah. Why you keep choosing the wrong person? Like,
You're saying, Reggie, you said so much. You said so much in that part. I want to go to two things. One, the accountability piece. You know,
mm,
the blinders. What have you done in the relationship? That piece is such a hard pill for people to swallow. All you can think about is where you are today, how you feeling right now. Oh, this woman, this man broke my heart today, but not what you have done. And like you said, it plays on both sides. I can remember I was, in a relationship. I was coming home, finding phone numbers and finding, different things. But at the end of the day, Reggie, from the very beginning of the relationship, I knew at the beginning that man we wasn't equally low. Like I knew that at the beginning. That man had been chasing me for years. I knew that at the beginning.
mm-hmm.
So again, just like you said, what happens that now all of a sudden it's okay? What happens in the all of a sudden, you know what I mean? Why are you allowing different behaviors? Why are you accepting? You know what I mean?
Right.
I had
Yeah.
to look in the mirror and say, girl, what happened? What happened? What happened? You didn't use
Yeah.
to. Why is it okay today? You know
Mm.
what I mean? Like it's a different conversation that you need to have with yourself. Why are you even allowing these behaviors? Like, why was it okay for you to leave her in the car for you know what I mean? And for her, like what was going on with her? Like, I feel like we want a relationship so bad. We want, this, we want the title, we want the whatever, and some of us, we just want to be loved. The promise
Right.
to be loved,
Right.
the lack of love that we're having, and to have somebody, I know you're going to sling some mud on me, but if you said you love me, okay, I'm gonna just wipe this mud off. You love me, right? Right. You said you love me, okay, all right. Yeah, I could deal with this. It's
It's
a different
sad.
conversation that you got to have with yourself to hold yourself accountable to get there.
Yep. But it hurts.
Yeah.
We are conditioned to run. This is one thing that I've discovered um since I've given my life to God is I no longer run from pain. I no longer run from hurt.
Yeah.
God has conditioned me to where even if something gonna hurt, I'll do it anyway. Even if something nasty, like food wise, if I know it's gonna give me some good health benefits, I'm gonna eat it anyway. I don't even know if I eat food for pleasure anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I eat it for health benefits. So God started addressing my diet, and it conditioned my brain to start doing what I don't like. Eating right, going to the gym is conditioning yourself to do what don't feel good.
Yeah.
So when you start living for God, like he's going to ask you to do some stuff that's going to hurt. You're going to
Sure.
have to walk away from some relationships, from some people that you love dearly.
Mm-hmm.
But God said, I got to call you out of that. If you hadn't allowed God to renew your mind and condition you to not operate by running from hurt, running from pain, you're going to stay in these toxic relationships because you're afraid of getting hurt. But you're going to get hurt either way. It's
You
no road.
you are getting hurt.
Yeah, yeah. It's no path in life where you can avoid hurt.
Yeah.
If you stay, it's going to hurt. If you leave, it's going to hurt. So it's like we convince ourselves to allow fear, hurt, pain to lead us as opposed to getting a relationship with God and Him renewing our mind to where we say, you know what? I know this go hurt, but I gotta leave.
Mm-hmm.
I know this go break my heart, but I gotta leave. And God started working with me with that first heartbreak, with that broken engagement in 2017.
Mm-hmm.
My heart got broke like 4 or 5 times after that. Like I've told you, like the stuff I had to walk away from.
Yeah.
But I'm so confident in the recovery. Like every single time I recovered. So I'm like, I know this about to hurt, but I know I'm a recover. I know that I'm a recover because the first 4 times I recovered.
Yeah.
In the first 4 times, I figured out how to recover. I didn't have to turn to sex. I
Yeah.
didn't have to turn to alcohol. I didn't have to turn to traveling. I didn't have to turn to my vices. I turned to the word. And every time, every heartbreak, the recovery time lessened, decreased. So the
Yeah.
first time, it probably took me 18 months to recover.
Yeah.
That fourth, fifth time, I was good in about a week.
And that's
So I'm like, I'm good. I know this is gonna hurt, but I know I'm gonna recover.
yeah.
We don't believe we'll recover because we don't know too many people who have recovered. Most of them drink 50 years old, still in the streets. That's how they recover. We don't know how healthy recovery looks. So we don't have a blueprint of what it's going to take to
Right.
overcome this divorce. So we don't have no hope. So we're like, man, I'm just going to stay because you don't believe that you're going to recover.
Well, that is, people say that they have faith and people and even but who wants to be hurt? Who wants to go through it? But it is like you said, once you go through it, I feel like
Part of
all
the
you have to
process.
do is have a flashback. You know what I'm saying? Like it helps me like, oh, I thought this was going to kill me. Like the worst thing I thought was going to kill me was the divorce. Like I'm like, how am I going to make it? How am I going to do it? I got this 2-year-old girl. I don't have no job. I don't have no money. I don't have nothing. He had he had everything. Right.
Right.
And so you're thinking you're not going to make it. And even for the men, because I know a lot of men who have raised their children and it was just like the mother just didn't want to be a mother anymore or was never maybe even meant to be a mother. I don't know. But I know a lot of men where the mother was like, I'm out, holla back.
But we don't hear those stories.
Man, we don't hear those stories, nor do we see the men out there that's doing it. You know what I mean? I know a lot of single parents, a lot of single men that are out there doing the daggone thing. You know what I mean? You're making it. You're doing it. It's hard. It's a struggle, but you're doing it. And so it's just like you said, it is, having faith that no matter
That's
what,
that part. We don't have that though. We say it.
we say it. And it sounds good. But what does it
It
look
it
like to actually walk through that fire, walk through that darkness?
Yeah,
Walk,
when you start asking them that, they start sounding like Elmer Fudd. They
yeah,
start stuttering. Okay, all right, you got faith. Tell me what that looked like. I pray. Okay, what else?
yeah.
Just because you prayed, like this heartbreak that you're going through, it's gonna take you more than praying, baby. That ain't how I overcame all those heartbreaks. I had to do more than pray. I was praying in 3rd grade. Now I lay me down to sleep. I pray the Lord my soul to keep.
Right.
That's that lazy Christianity. Well, I'm just go pray about it. Oh no, you gotta do more than pray. You gotta know him. You gotta seek him. You sought that man, you sought that woman.
Yeah.
So keep that same energy with this heartbreak. I need for you to seek God, my boy. Yeah, I'm finna show you how to fight for your wife. Yeah, I'm about to show you how to fast. Yep, I'm about to show you what you need to say to her. Yeah, how I know what you need to say, because I've been in your shoes before. You got to humble yourself, bro. You got to be vulnerable. You got to submit to God. And if she don't know submission, she can see your submission to God. And now she know it because she saw you do it first. We be requiring women to do stuff we don't even do.
Yeah.
It's out of order. And that's why our homes and our romantic relationships look broken, because we don't have faith. We just say that we have faith. We praise, dance, we shout, we say we love God and we are Christians, but we don't really know Jesus. And if you know Jesus, you'll be able to do relationships and be vulnerable and hold yourself accountable and all these things that it takes in order to have a healthy household. But we're trying to have healthy households, and we leaving out the main factor, and that's him.
Yeah. It's that surface thing. You know what I mean? We want to take the pictures. Smile. We want to take the pictures. We want it to look good on the surface, but we're not willing to do the work in order to, make sure, just like you said, humbling yourself, praying, fasting. And a lot of times in my, counseling and working with different relationships, the men are always saying, she doesn't respect me. If there's a lack of respect, she doesn't respect me. But I feel like, one of the biggest things is your behavior is not respectable. That's what I feel like, just like you said, you have to show up and be consistent. If your behavior is not respectable, how is that woman? How are you demanding? How do you think? Why do you think she's going to respect you? Why do you think? You know
Just
what I
because
mean?
you're a man? That's how we think. Women's supposed to respect us just because we're men. It don't work like that.
Doesn't work like that.
We think that. Well, the Bible says, okay, you left out the whole other scriptures that go with that verse that you just quoted about wives submit to their husbands. What about the other part?
Mm-hmm.
Did you a husband? What is a husband? First of all, I need for you to Google what a husband is biblically. If you ain't that, you can't use that scripture, my boy. Just because you went and got married don't mean you a husband to God. You ain't even submitted to God, so how you a husband? Just because you went and got married? No, you let God call you a husband, not the government, not a piece of paper. So once you submit it to God and you're a biblical husband, okay, now you use that scripture. Yeah, she go submit to a man who already submitted to God. That's what a husband is. A man who already got relationship with God. Yeah. So if you ain't got that, I don't know. I don't think it's wisdom. I don't think it's wise for us to use that scripture out of context. Because most of us not even husbands. And most women ain't wives. Just because you're a man don't make you a husband. And just because you're a woman don't make you a wife.
Yeah.
We think because we're a man, I'm already a husband. Just because you're a woman, I'm already a wife. I can't tell you the amount of times women jump in my inbox talking about their wives. And I say, what your relationship with God look like? And they don't have nothing to say. How you a wife then? You just put that label on yourself because you look good.
And that's the thing, like the vows, I think people are saying vows. They're not living the vows. They're saying the vows. But all
because you can't do those vows.
Before Christ, before Christ, before God, you have pledged, you have promised. You know what I mean?
I don't even know the vows like verbatim,
Yeah.
but what they say you can't do in your own strength.
Yes.
You're going
Exactly.
to have the Holy Spirit to do those vows. Through
Exactly.
sickness and health, to death do us part.
Exactly.
Those vows are announcing, oh God, I can't do this on my own strength. I need you. But we go into it thinking that we go into marriage thinking that we could do it in our own strength. And that's why the divorce rate is through the roof, because
Yes.
we're trying to do marriage without the God that put marriage together, meaning that you got to have him in order for you to love that woman like she needs to be loved.
Yep.
To not pop off at her if she got a smart mouth, to cover her in prayer, to allow God to show you the flaws and the weaknesses of your wife, and you take them to God. And by you loving her properly, through your stripes as a man, she will be healed.
Yes.
Through God's stripe, through Jesus Christ's stripes, his wife, us, the church, healed. So when people see your marriage, they supposed to see Jesus Christ. But
Yeah.
we going into marriage without Jesus and then wondering why we are ineffective, coming from broken households, and
Mhm.
people been married 20 plus years. Now they getting divorced. Why? God said, I'm breaking all this up. I didn't put this together. Y'all
Yeah.
put this together. The word says, what God put together, let no man put us under. I will go as far as to say 80% of the marriages today, God did not put together.
I would agree. I definitely would agree. A lot of it is, again, people are lonely. People don't, people don't know. We don't even take the time to get to know, you know what I mean? Somebody I know, I've again, in these counseling sessions, I realize you don't even know who your husband is. You don't even know who your wife is. You don't even, you know what I mean? They're
No,
keeping
you.
apart. So you don't even know yourself, right? And that is my thing. Exactly, Reggie. That is my thing. Like, how can you even go into, you're showing up as a wounded, broken 7, 8-year-old, 16-year-old boy in this
Yes,
adult
arrested development.
year old body. You know what I mean?
16-year-old mentally asking for respect.
Right.
And you acting like a 16-year-old. But this is the unfortunate thing about it. These dark side characteristics that you and I are talking about now are glorified on social media.
Yeah.
We taking advice from people who are 40 on the panel, but 16-year-olds mentally. Men and women. That's the advice that we're getting, how to do effective relationships. So we think it's okay to have a smart mouth. We
Yeah.
think it's okay for a man to have a side chick, 2 or 3 side chicks.
Yeah.
We're okay with being domineering in a relationship, demanding our partner to do certain things. Bro, get off Love and Hip Hop Atlanta and open your Bible and let God instruct you how to do relationships. Because what you watching on TV and on Instagram, that ain't working. Will
That's
and Jada relationship goals
that's
obviously ain't working, but that's who we looking at.
yeah, that's for ratings. I'm glad you said Will and Jada. I literally watched interview. I watched 2 interviews of her yesterday. And I'm gonna say this. I love Jada. I love Jada. She's from Baltimore. I remember the first time I saw her on A Different World. I was like, I loved her because she was different. Her energy was different. She was unique. You know what I mean? She had that like be more swag that, I was like, yes. I just felt like I was being represented. You know what I mean? Like I was like, oh my God, that's me. That's
Right.
my friends. Like that's us. Like, oh my God, we're on TV. And listening to her interview yesterday, all I could think of was it's so unfortunate because they talked about actors, and most actors and actresses come from broken homes, and they come from this broken lifestyle, and so they hide, you know what I mean, through the acting, right, through the different roles, that whole thing. That's their escape, right? That's their escape. But going back to brokenness and jumping into relationship and not knowing who you are, a few weeks or a month or something, I don't even know, a short period of time before Jada started going with Will Smith, she wanted to commit suicide. She was driving around. She was driving around and did not trust herself so much that she called MC Light and was like, Light, come stay with me because I can't be alone. I'm something that's going to happen. I'm going to do something. Light came and stayed with her. Her mom is a nurse. She had been on drugs for years, right? Her mom was off drugs for like a year at this point, just newly in her sobriety. Her mom comes and stays with her, and you know, she gets herself together. Just a short period of time passes, and then she gets with Will Smith. She's still, you know what I mean? She still is, but because they got her on Prozac, and you know, she saw, I don't know how many therapy sessions she went to, maybe 1 or 2, because that's what we do. We'll go to 1 or 2 therapy sessions, and I'm healed or I'm better. And then she's on to the next thing. That woman was broken. She still is broken. It's very evident, right?
Is too
evident. Yeah, they both have, you know, the grace of God. They were able to come up and, you know, become the stars that they were in the crazy dynamic that they both had. But you take her, right? Father on drugs, mama on drugs. 7 years old, the daddy came to her. He said, look, I'm not gonna be your daddy. I'm not gonna be around. I'm on these drugs. I like these drugs too much. I'm not gonna be around. 7 years old. Can you imagine?
Right.
Mama on drugs. So I'm not good enough for anybody. This is how I have always looked at Will and Jada. When everybody was talking, all I could do is I'm looking at her and I'm saying she has some unworthiness in her belly to the 10th power. She does not feel like Will Smith called her up on the phone and he said he had just got divorced, separated. He wasn't even divorced yet. Just got separated from the first wife. He calls Jada up. He says, Jada, you dating anybody? She said, no. He said, good. You dating me now. And that's what it's been, right? So first off, I ain't never been wanted. Ain't nobody ever wanted me like that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You have this man calling me, he wants me. He's this star. He got to be even a bigger star. It is going to, in relationships, broken.
That's what we're taught.
Life. Yeah, you're living your life, you know, and stuff is happening and you're going, have you ever gone back and dealt with the stuff? No. The stuff is still there. That's why the name of my book originally is What's in the Pit of Your Belly. The stuff is still in the pit of your belly. You ain't never dealt with it. You just pushing it down and going and being and doing, because that's what we do. We go and we be and we do. And then what's happening? Life. It's just that her life is, and their life both are on this big ass microscope, right? It's under this big microscope because they're celebrities. But at the end of the day, they're still just human beings. They're still just spirits trying to figure it out just like everybody else. They jumped into a relationship too fast, just like everybody else.
You're right. We jump to person to person. We jump from a broken relationship and then we jump to another part. And I was guilty of doing that for a long time. As soon as I experience some type of breakup or a heartbreak, like I'm about to jump to another woman.
Baby, that's the easiest way. That's what they say. That's the golden rule. How there ain't nothing like it. The way to get over some old arms is to get you some new arms, honey. That's what we.
That's what I'm saying. So we're seeing the manifestation. We're seeing that bad advice manifest. We're seeing the fruits of it now.
Yeah.
And we're seeing how our kids are broken.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, wow, my bad decisions is causing my kids to be broken, my household to be broken. And I'm looking at Will and Jada, and they look good. So I'm going to mimic my behavior off of them because it look good, even if what they look like don't line up with what God had in mind when he talked about marriage, when he talked about romantic relationships. So we got to stop this domino. We got to stop this. It's like a domino effect. It's like a generational curse. And so we got to stop it. And so platforms like this, conversations like this is going to prick someone's heart and say, oh, hold up. Let me see if because I was taught, but I've been doing relationships wrong. Let me see what this God thing talking about. And we jump from person to person. And so we never deal with our issues. Yes. That's what you kind of explained with Jada. Mm-hmm. But I'm telling you, when you seek God, all of that stuff, all of it that you've suppressed is coming up. It's coming up from the pit of your belly. That's God goes, so, oh yeah, you remember what happened to you when you was 8? Oh yeah, you forgot about it. Now I'm about to bring it up because I got to reveal it in order to heal it. You forgot about it, but God did. So if you allow yourself to go through the process that I'm talking about, that I went through, that Joseph went through, that David went through, that Moses went through, you can't do that if you're trying to get to know somebody else or you in a relationship. God said, if you went through a heartbreak, the best thing for you to do is don't jump into a relationship. And if you jump into a relationship with me and let me bring all that stuff up. And it's going to hurt. You're going to be going down the road crying. You don't even know what you're crying for. Like God said, I'm bringing all that stuff up. That is tears of deliverance. Yeah. I'm telling you, when I went through this process that I'm talking about, I cried more in 1 year than I had cried in probably the last 20 years of my life. I mean, I'm at church, like during this process of purging, spiritual purging, where God brings all that stuff back up. I'm in church like every Sunday. I'm like, hold on, what is going on? I don't cry like this. I'm macho. I'm an alpha male. I don't cry like this. God said, I'm about to break that little macho man that you think you got. I'm about to bring all that stuff up, my boy. So all the heartbreak, all the trauma, all the abandonment, all the rejection, all of it coming up. So allow yourself to go through this season of purging. Because I got to get that stuff out of there. You think you just go to sleep one night and wake up and God has brought everything out? No, he going to take you through a process. Yeah. So you may go through a season of depression, crying all the time, up at night, a couple other supernatural things that involves deliverance. And once you allow yourself to go through the season of purging and God brings all that stuff up, now you're walking into wholeness. Now you're knowing who you are. Mm-hmm. You're not operating from brokenness anymore because God got that stuff up out of you. Yeah. You choosing partners from brokenness. You don't even really like men like that. You think you do. Yeah. But you choosing men based off of your brokenness. Yeah. Bro, you don't even like women like that. Mm-hmm. You like women like that because it looked like your mama and your mama was broken. Mm-hmm. Once you become whole, you ain't even go like that type of person no more because you choosing people from your brokenness. Yes. When you get on this side and you have allowed yourself to go through this season of purging, this season of deliverance, now you can see clearly. Now you showing up confident because you know who you are. Exactly. So you know what you like. Oh yeah, I know she cute, but her mouth too smart. That goes against how I'm wired. God has taught me how I'm wired. I know that I'm in the kingdom now. So even though she look good, I can't be with a woman like that because she goes against where I'm going. Where I'm going, my purpose. How do I know my purpose? I've went through this season of purging and deliverance, and God has told me my purpose.
Yes.
Now I got supernatural discipline. Why? Because now I got something to look forward to. Now I got a relationship with God. So even though she looked good,
yes,
I'm not going to give in to what I see. I got purpose on my life. So I can't eat anything.
That's right.
I got purpose on my life. I can't listen to anything. Y'all can, I can't, because I got purpose on my life.
Yeah.
My divine purpose.
Yeah.
Not where I work, but why I'm put here on this earth. And when we have allowed ourselves to go through this process, and unfortunately, it appears as though Will and Jada hadn't gone through this process, you're going to look like that because they still like suppressing stuff and it's manifesting in toxic ways. And a lot of us, as you stated, doing the same thing that Will and Jada are doing. We just not in the public eye.
We're not celebrities.
Right.
That part, exactly. It is unfortunate. My friend, one of my good mentors, she said, we are spiritual beings having a human experience. And the spirit of God is what is in us and what needs to be fed. And I just feel like, we think that just like you said, just eating that regular stuff and just eating, what you eat makes a tremendous difference. I did not realize this and how it affected me so much until I started fasting.
Right.
I started fasting and I called myself gonna go back and eat regular stuff and do I got sick, Reggie. I got sick.
Right.
Remember, I was like, wait a minute, but Popeyes is my favorite. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on now, loves me some chicken. I can't even. I literally just told my daughter the other day. I said, I think we just gonna have to cut because I was like, maybe I can do it every now and then. You know what I mean? Like in my mind, I'm trying to figure out how I can work it in.
Yeah.
You gotta it's just some things that you have to let go. You know what I mean? And it just gets abundantly clearer and clearer and clearer. And this is the thing about God, is just what I love about him is that I done told you to stop eating that chicken. I told you. I sent somebody to teach you. I done told you. You know what you feel like when you're not eating it. But okay, go ahead and hit that drive-through line. All right. You want to eat chicken in it? Okay. You go ahead and do that. He gives us that will. You know what I mean? He's going to give us that free will. And so guess what? When you get sick enough, when you get tired enough, I even realized, Reggie, I slept, like I sleep different when I'm not eating right. I don't rest well. I don't have as much energy. Like it hits you different. It's like, okay.
But look though, this.
Hey Lord.
But
the surrender is real.
but look, this is how we're conditioned. You know you don't supposed to be eating that Popeye's chicken, right? You know that.
Yeah.
You know it in your spirit. You don't supposed to, but you choose it anyway.
Yeah, so good.
And you get sick. You get sick, right?
We get sick.
You don't sleep well. Okay. This is where this accountability part comes in. Yeah. We live in a society that's gonna blame the chicken.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah, it's the chicken.
And we go blame Popeyes. Or we go blame our friend that let us go to Popeyes.
Yeah.
So we go call our friend a narcissist. Baby, this is you. It's not him. It's not the chicken. It's not Popeyes. So God said, okay, I'm gonna let you choose whatever you want to eat, and I'm gonna allow it to turn against you.
Right.
So do not.
Love so much.
If you're on this listening to this right now, do not blame the chicken. It's not the chicken.
Not the chicken.
It's you.